Hi, my name is Dushan and I'm with a company called CTInstruments. We manufacture these small and relatively well priced and affordable HPLCs for testing cannabinoids. In this video I'd like to show you an autosampler that is integrated with our HPLC. It's a system that you would use in a lab because it's all automated, but some companies, for example extract manufacturers or tinctures manufacturers, if they want to do a QC, this would be suitable for them as well. The autosampler is just very easy to connect to the HPLC. It's just basically connecting two tubings, and it's very simple to use. So I would like to show you how to use the system and how affordable and repeatable results are. So in this small window you could see we set up a sequence where we would be measuring two first samples, or first sample twice and then the second sample after that. So you can see now the needle just punctured the septum on the vial and is withdrawing the sample. What's going to happen is the autosampler gives a signal to the HPLC so that it knows when to start and stop the run. So you can now see in the blue window that the HPLC run just started. You can see there's a green line, and also the autosampler is cleaning the needle or washing it. You can set up the sequences in various ways. We have set up doing the measurement of each sample and then cleaning the needle after each drawing of a sample. For the ease and for the sake of time, I am going to show you in this video how to measure benzoic acid standard. And the reason is simple, because it elutes out of the column very quickly at around 1:47 seconds. So we can do this 3 times. The cannabinoids method that we have set up takes about 13 minutes, so doing 3 samples in a row would take almost 40 minutes. So as you can see, the green line now, there's usually we have a peak, solvent peak first coming out, and right after that benzoic acid. And what I'll do is right after we finish with the 3 measurements, we'll process the sample data so that you can see what they look like, how accurate they are, and how repeatable the 3 measurements are with the autosampler. So this is the peak of benzoic acid, and it's at 1:47 seconds, as I mentioned before. In between these runs, I'm going to talk more about the autosampler and also about the HPLC itself and a little bit about our company, so that you learn more information about us and what we do. The run is just finishing right now, so after this stops, this is the data that is recorded, as you could see, and now the autosampler is going to measure first sample second time. I'll explain later why. So now again it's just drawing the sample, and you will hear a little click, which is when the switch valve changes position and injects the sample into the HPLC, which is right now. And now again washing off the needle. So let me tell you more about our HPLC. So it's well priced. It's around 15,000 US, or about 13,000 euros. How it's different from other more expensive HPLCs, it has a smaller reciprocating pump, and it has a single wavelength UV detector. It's very suitable for cannabinoids because cannabinoids are measured at 220 nanometers regardless of what kind of UV detector you have. It's very accurate. The results are very repeatable. We have, as I mentioned before, we have lots of customers using it in commercial labs. We have lots of customers that manufacture products containing cannabinoids. and they're very happy with the system. It's very robust, and it lasts very long time. We sell these worldwide, so if you have any questions, just reach out to our email address. It's support@cannabistestingsimplified.com, or just look at our website, which is cannabistestingsimplified.com. With the Autosampler, it has 45 vial rack, so you can do 45 samples in a row. You just would normally do the extraction. If you have a flower, you just do the extraction, or if you have a concentrate, you would just dilute that, and you would set it up in the Autosampler. Just set up all the vials and just start it, and at the end of the run you just process the data, which we'll do later. So the second run is finishing again. So now the Autosampler will do the third sample. In this specific case, why I set it up this way is because first vial and the second vial are slightly different. The first vial has a benzoic acid standard, and the second vial also, but it was prepared in different batch. So if we measure the first vial twice or several times, it gives you more insight into the repeatability of how the Autosampler operates. So if you measure the same sample several times, you can look at the relative standard deviation between those measurements, and it tells you how different those samples are. And in the second vial, what I did is, since it's a different batch, it just basically tells you how accurate I am in preparing these standards. What I just did in the blue window is I changed the view port of the window slightly so that you can see the entire solvent peak coming out. As I mentioned before, the Autosampler costs around $9,000 US, and we have the cannabinoids method set up for the entire system. Normally, if you don't have the Autosampler, and lots of our customers actually start that way, they just purchase the HPLC that has a manual injector. You can see that at the front. So you would normally inject the sample manually with a micro syringe and proceed that way. And once you grow as a customer, then you can purchase the Autosampler a little bit later if you need it. It gives you more flexibility. Or you can just buy the entire system at once. The Autosampler is plug and play, so there is no circuit boards that need to be installed or anything else. You just plug it in, install the software, and you can run it. So now we have the third sample finishing. The Autosampler is going to stop as well as the run, and then we can just process the samples. I'll do that right now. Let's have a look at the results that we just measured. This is the first sample that we measured. The software auto-recognizes the peaks, and it assigns this specific peak benzoic acid, which is accurate, and also calculates the concentration based on the calibration curves that we have developed for this. So the measured concentration of this benzoic acid is 1002 micrograms per milliliter. The actual standard is 1002.9, so this is very, very accurate. Let's just compare the two samples, the first sample and the second sample, which would be from the same vial. So here they are stacked against each other. You can see that the retention time is exactly the same, 1.470. And if you look at the standard deviations, the difference is only 0.08% between them. So this is very good. So let's just add the third sample that we measured, which would be again benzoic acid, but I prepared it earlier by dilution, so it will be slightly off. So let's just add it here. It's this file. Again, the retention time is exact, and by adding it, the retention or the radial standard deviation is 1.32%. So basically, when we compare the first two, it just tells us how accurate or repeatable the autosampler is. And in this case, when we added this, just tells you how accurate I was in preparing these standards. So not bad. If you wanted to have a look at the cannabinoid standards, let's just have a look at those. So I'm just going to delete these, and I will stack some cannabinoids that we measured on this autosampler earlier today. So let's just do these two. So these are the cannabinoids that we measured. So again, they stack pretty well. If you look at the standard deviation, it's ranging between 0.37% to 1.35%. So again, very good repeatability of this. So if you have any questions about the entire system, feel free to reach out and ask any questions. Thank you.